June 25, 1978, Buenos Aires. A stadium full of 71,000 people is screaming. Their team just won the World Cup. Their president is smiling, medal in hand. But 3 miles away, in the basement of a Navy base, people are being tortured to death. And the two things are connected. This is the story of the most disturbing World Cup in history. 2 years earlier, Argentina wasn't really a country. It was a dictatorship. In 1976, a military junta seized power. General Jorge Videla took control. He called it a national reorganization process. Everyone else called it something darker. Tens of thousands of people vanished. Students, journalists, union workers, anyone who disagreed. They called them Los Desaparecidos, the disappeared. Over 340 secret detention centers operated across the country. And in the middle of all this, Argentina was scheduled to host the World Cup. The junta had a choice: cancel it or use it. They chose to use it. FIFA officials visited Argentina. They saw the chaos. Some wanted to move the tournament. Argentina's government spent over $500 million to make sure that never happened. New stadiums, new broadcast towers, a wall of propaganda. The slogan was simple: 25 million Argentines will play the World Cup. It wasn't really a slogan. It was an order. Foreign journalists were watched. Some were warned. Some simply disappeared from their hotels for a night, then reappeared saying nothing. Then came the moment that still haunts soccer historians. Argentina needed to beat Peru by 4 goals to reach the final over Brazil. 4 goals. Against a Peruvian team that had already beaten Brazil earlier in the tournament. They won 6-0. Decades later, journalists dug into what really happened before that match. A shipment of 35,000 tons of grain was sent from Argentina to Peru, free of charge. A $50 million loan to Peru's government was suddenly unfrozen. Argentine political prisoners were reportedly transferred to a prison in Peru around that same week. And Peru's starting goalkeeper that day was actually born in Argentina. Peru's own senator later claimed the military dictatorship pressured their government directly. Nobody has ever proven it in court. But 6-0 against a team that good, at that exact moment, convinced almost nobody it was an accident. Argentina made the final. They'd face the Netherlands. The Dutch were missing their biggest star. Johan Cruyff had refused to play in this World Cup at all, and to this day, nobody agrees on exactly why. Before kickoff, Argentina's captain complained about a small cast on a Dutch player's wrist. The match officials delayed kickoff. The crowd screamed. The Dutch team stood in the tunnel, furious, confused, off balance. It worked. In extra time, with the score tied, a Dutch player named Rob Rensenbrink hit the post. Just the post. If that ball goes in, the World Cup probably belongs to Holland. It didn't. Mario Kempes scored twice in extra time. Argentina won 3-1. World champions. The stadium exploded. Confetti. Flags. General Videla walked onto the pitch and handed the trophy to the Argentine captain himself, live on television, in front of the entire world. And less than 2 miles from that stadium sat a building called ESMA, the Navy's mechanics school. People were being held, tortured, and killed there, while the celebration outside got louder and louder. Survivors would later testify. They could hear the crowd roaring through the walls. To this day, Argentina's 1978 World Cup carries an asterisk that has nothing to do with soccer. Was part of the tournament rigged? Almost certainly. Was the joy real for millions of ordinary fans watching at home? Also yes. But it was built directly on top of one of the darkest periods in the country's history. And the government running it treated every single goal as a weapon. A trophy lifted in the sunlight. A country screaming underneath it, in the dark. You decide what that World Cup actually means. Subscribe the Football Blueprint Reporter for more soccer videos.